What's up, everybody? We're sitting here with Dave Rynecki. He is the Director of R&D for multiple brands. Dave, you want to give us a little bit about your background, kind of what you're currently doing?
Yeah, so Director of R&D for Crush It brands. So that's going to entail Core Nutritionals, Merica Labz, Unmatched Nutrition, and then MYOBLOX. So we're all under one roof, but basically, my main job is managing all of our new products and innovations that are coming out for the brands.
Yeah, and I know with all those brands under the umbrella, can you kind of give us an idea of what your typical day looks like? I know you just got done from the gym, sorry I couldn't join you, but
yeah,
what does your typical day look like for you?
Yeah, so typically for me, I'll generally start my day with a workout. I usually try to get caught up with as much as I can before starting, and then I'll go into a workout, and then it's just back to work essentially. And then from there, it's tackling the emails, phone calls. I kind of do it that way just because some of the suppliers or manufacturers I work with are on West Coast time, so they're not starting until a little bit later anyway. But then from there, it's just trying to get ahead on any sort of projects we're working on, from labels to formulations to I dabble in a little bit of sales as well. So from there, it takes me right up until 5, and then it's dad mode from there.
Nice. So I guess one of the questions I had is with Crush It brands, there you have MYOBLOX, you have Core Nutritionals, you have multiple brands for product formulation and R&D. Is it different for each brand? And if so, kind of like what does that look like?
Yeah. So each brand is very different. It has its own voice, it has its own consumer, it has its own purpose. So the demographics are going to be completely different. Even if you look at the social media, like Merica's been doing a lot of like AI type of content. We're leaning into the kind of funny but still American but badass kind of marketing as well. So each brand is different in that way. So formulation wise, it's based on that brand identity. So like I said, Core has that clinical background. Merica kind of teeters on that line. And then Unmatched has a very strong commitment to longevity and health span. And then MYOBLOX has a little bit more of a boutique kind of edge to it. So from formulation to price point to ingredients that we're using, it's all going to be dependent on that individual brand's identity at the end of the day.
Yeah. For R&D purposes, is there any brand in particular that maybe is a little bit more fun to formulate for?
Oh, man. Just because it's relatively newer as a brand, I mean, I've actually really been enjoying formulating Unmatched products.
Okay.
Because for that brand, it's all new categories for that brand. So it's kind of establishing what that, in that space of longevity and health span, as well as bodybuilding and hardcore-ness that kind of the other brands have established over the years.
Right.
It's how do we tie in that longevity-based component. So it's using different ingredient synergies or different combinations or just different ingredients altogether that we've never used before, and then it's diving into that research a little bit more in depth to see how they all work together essentially. So that brand, I would say out of the 4, has probably been the more fun to formulate over the last year or so.
Okay. When it comes to formulations, I know we kind of were talking about the peptides right before we turned on the camera. Very trendy peptides right now. How do you kind of balance the ingredients that are trending like peptides versus clinically validated ingredients that have been around for a while? You kind of try and tie them all in together. Is there something that you look for specifically when you're formulating new products?
I mean, I think with trends, for one, like I think it's very easy for trends to, really not have some of the validity behind them. If they're being real social media driven types of trends, you kind of have to look at that for face value. And kind of like what you and I were talking, like really any ingredient can ultimately have a trend behind it. But for what I'm really particularly interested in is really the clinical validation of that ingredient. Popularity is one thing, and every brand might kind of jump on it at some point or another. Not to say that we haven't done that.
Right.
Like with flavored creatine, for years it was like, no, we have an unflavored, and then you see flavored creatine kind of explode. So we were like, why didn't we do this a long time ago?
Yeah.
Ingredient wise, like peptides. I think I told you, like PeptiStrong, for instance, we were probably one of the first to bring that to market. I think one other brand might have had it before us, but it's been our lineup for several years, and now you're seeing every brand that's coming out with a muscle builder, starting to use it. Now that could be in with combinations, but I think that's because of how clinical research has changed over the years, and people like your brand in general are doing more research, which is now establishing these trends are actually valid because they have those human clinicals behind it.
Yeah, it's exciting to hear. We kind of pride ourselves on being a research-based company, and a lot of the ingredients that we're talking about are trending because they have strong clinical trials and results. So it's really positive to hear that, someone like yourself actually cares about that aspect. It's not just, what's trending just to trend. There's actually a reason why it's super popular.
I think it's important to know who's talking about that trend.
Yes.
Is it just some random person who's getting paid by a brand or whatever?
Definitely.
Or is it actually the supplier themselves who's actually in the trenches of that research?
Makes sense. Have you ever actually wanted to move forward with a particular ingredient that maybe you were excited about for like a new project, and something popped up and you actually had to abandon said ingredient for whatever reason?
Yeah, I'd say that's happened several times. It could also be just a particular product in general for one reason or another. I mean, really, some of what that comes down to, it's like you can love the research, you can love the ingredient in general. Maybe the format that you're trying to put it in just doesn't work for one reason or another. And usually it's going to come down to either like flavoring. You just can't really get the flavoring down.
Makes sense.
Price point might be an issue. Like I just can't accomplish what I want to achieve and still have it be at a respectable price point where we can be successful with this. So I mean, I'd say that's happened several times. And it doesn't mean I fully abandon the ingredient. I just kind of shelve it for a little bit and try to fit it in somewhere where it might make sense, whether it's down the line or maybe it's in a renovation of a product or as a standalone or something like that. So I still like the ingredient. I just can't use it right now.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Crush It brands in general, whether it be MYOBLOX, Core Nutritionals, Merica Labz, what have you, you do see a lot of the NuLiv ingredients in there. Is there any specific reason, kind of why you guys gravitate towards, some of the ingredients like AstraGin and Senactiv, and why you guys tend to use it in a lot of your products?
Yeah, I mean, ever since I've been in the role, I look at brands that have that reputation, within the industry. You see AstraGin all the time. Every single brand is using it at some point. It's either Bioparent or AstraGin.
Yes.
And more often than not, AstraGin is probably a little bit more ahead than Bioparent in my opinion. So brand reputation, is a big part of that. And then the effort that you guys actually put into advancing, your current ingredients or developing new ones, or even for me, like the customer service aspect of what how you guys are within the industry, touching base, following up, evolving, all that stuff is gonna play a factor in that.
Right.
But you guys have that brand reputation where you are putting a lot of effort into making sure that these ingredients are the best that they can be for the brands that are using them.
Definitely.
And I mean, that's why we continue to go back to it.
Yeah, I think we do what we can on the research side to at least continuously come out with some new research to continually validate, what we're saying is what you're getting. And then aside from that, we're doing whatever we can on the media side to really showcase basically what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, our success is derived from you guys. And if we can kind of show that off at our free will with our media team, talking about the new products, new formulations, I just think it kind of helps everybody and just gives a little bit more value add as opposed to just using AstraGin. Yeah, I mean, you guys have the type of brand recognition to where, like, when we have the option to use, say, like the AstraGin logo or an ingredient logo or something like that, we opt to do that because it's a big piece of the marketing. That when we can make certain claims or we can use the backing from your ingredient, then that's going to help us sell the product more. And everyone's going to win at Definitely.
that point. So.
Is there anything on any of the Crush It brand product lines that you're excited about, that maybe we can get a little bit of a sneak peek about, or maybe that you're deep in R&D that you can kind of share with us that can let people know to kind of keep a lookout for?
Yeah, so I mean, probably two things. Unmatched is, like I said, probably one of the more fun projects that I've been involved with over the last 2 years. So like we just had our 1 year anniversary. So getting into year 2 now, there's a lot of like phase 3 products that are coming. We've had a successful launch with like longevity test and 2-shred. But coming up, like I said, wanting to get into more natural peptides, there is more of a peptide-based angle that we're trying to find with some new products. So really in different categories, but one that is actually sitting up here, I can kind of either have you guys try, but it's in that relaxation sort of category.
Awesome.
That will be peptide based.
Cool. Well, I'd definitely personally try that one.
Yeah.
It's a more of a relaxation, more for sleep, kind of overall mood.
A little bit of all that.
Okay. All right. That's exciting.
Yeah. And it will be one of the best tasting ones in that category. Okay. In my opinion.
Awesome. So just because you're a formulator, I didn't put it on the sheet. I'm just curious. throughout the day, what's your daily supplementation regimen look like? What are you currently taking?
So my morning basically will consist of a daily health pack. So that'll consist of, I mean, really everything from multivitamin to fish oil, greens, stuff like that, which Unmatched has a pretty comprehensive one that's coming out too. Be a test booster, beta testing and doing blood work right now for actually longevity test.
Oh, nice.
I'll do like my standards, vitamin C, D, zinc, that sort of stuff. And then it's mostly, I'll drink ElectroShred or electrolytes throughout the day, protein post-workout, I'll do a pre-workout, and then, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like I'm sipping on like some sort of electrolyte or amino pretty much all day, but I do all my pills mostly in the mornings just to knock them out.
Gotcha.
So
cool.
I'm pretty simple.
I was curious. I always like to ask people, especially somebody who's doing the R&D and making the products. It's always very interesting to kind of see what you guys really, make. All right, this is a primary focus for me.
Yeah, I mean, I will be the guinea pig for almost everything. So like even the product that I was telling Tony about before, like I'll try it several times. I'll try it different ways. I'll kind of go through all those ways that people might take it and try to see is there anything wrong with that? But I got to make sure it works, obviously, first. So whether that's doing blood work or if it's training on a product or whatever, I'll put it through the ringer and make sure that it's as best as we can get it. And then I'll get other people to try it as well. So like I'll get JD to try it, I'll get Pat to try it, get Doug to try it, because my take on it might be very different. Like I'm just one person.
Yeah.
If I'm making it, I could be biased. Like this is the best thing that that's ever tasted or whatever. But not really the case for everybody.
Yeah.
So we like to get different people's opinions, and if we have to send it out to like the Price Plows or the Fitness Informants or Supplement Snoop or whoever, and get their take on it, then we will.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah.
Cool. That's really all. Is there anything that you wanted to maybe share about any of the brands, projects that we can kind of just get out there for you guys?
I mean, we're a constantly moving machine. Even though like launching products, like maybe we're not launching things quite as rapidly as we maybe have in the past. It doesn't mean we're not working on things.
Yes.
So this is going to be a pretty busy second half of the year for us. New Transformer SKU coming out later this year. There's new collaborations that are in the works, new products. But we're constantly moving. We're constantly trying to evolve, tap into different markets. It's going to be a pretty big year for Core, and I'm excited for the next year for sure.
Yeah, from everything you guys have shared with us on the tour, you guys are super busy. You guys are not just chilling. You got a lot going on. So definitely be on the lookout for everything that Crusher Brands are going to be coming out with. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate everything you guys do.
Yeah. Really
excited to work with you guys, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with.
Absolutely. No, thank you guys for being so awesome, and I mean we'll continue to use your ingredients for sure.
Appreciate it. Cool.
Yeah, man.